YouTube viewers, Rectangular back, this time with an action figure review. So I was able to get my hands on the Funko Fantastic Mr. Fox Legacy Collection. Consists of 4 figures. You've got Mr. Fox, the Rat, Kylie, and Ash. So I'm going to be reviewing each one of these figures, and we're going to do them in numerical order. Here we have number 4 in this series. This is Ash, who is the son of Mr. Fox. Very nice packaging, very reminiscent of the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch packaging and the Marvel Legends Infinite series, where it's in a box, a window box. You get to see the entire figure here, and the accessory he comes with is his alternate head with the black mask, and then you've got a nice little diorama background artwork piece, and in the lower left hand corner you've got Ash in his what he looks like in the movie with no mask on. Very cool. Like that you can repackage him and sell him in the original box. And on the back we have the other figures from the series. We have Mr. Fox, Rat, and Kylie, which I've reviewed all of those figures, so if you're interested, please go back and check those out. Again, these were sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios and made by Funko. Alright, part of their Legacy collection. Another picture of Ash there on the side, and let's go ahead and get him out of the package and take a closer look. So the only accessories that the figure comes with are his figure stand, which has different size pegs for the specific feet, and then it comes with his masked head, or the alternate mask, which he only wears for a brief moment at the end of the movie, which it's nice to have, but I'd rather have an unmasked version of the character, because he, for at least actually the majority of the movie, he does not have a mask on. So instead of giving us this alternate black mask with the gold stars on it, which is very nice, it's got some really nice paint and sculpted detail there. You can see the lines on the mask. Did a pretty good job painting his ears, but yeah, I would much rather prefer that we got a unmasked version of the character, since we already have the white sock mask, which he wears for about a quarter of the movie. So alright, let's go ahead and show off the figure. Alright, so here we have Ash out of the package, and he's pretty cool. Not the best figure in this wave, I would say. I would say probably the least as far as paint goes. You know, he's in a almost all white costume, but they did do a good job of painting his eyes and the other details on his costume. He's got some nice orange stripes here on his socks, and a little tip of his sock is torn open. He's got his foot sticking through there. Really nicely sculpted tail. It does have some sculpted lines on the sweater there, on the going down the sleeves and on the front. Pretty nice texture. You know, the waves of his costume do look like they're fabric, so that's pretty cool. It's not just like cylindrical legs, and really nice lines on the mask there for the sock. You can see the sock there on the top of his head, and no real lines for whiskers, which is a little bit disappointing, and you know, the mouth is not articulated at all, not exposed or open at all. You can't see any of his teeth, but again, they did a really good job on the eyes. They're very glossy. It's going to show up on camera there. but the eyes have like a nice gloss finish on them, and pretty good job painting his ears. The cape is just a soft rubbery plastic, so it's pretty flexible. That's nice. Mine does have a slight yellow blemish there in the shoulder area, so hopefully I can rub that off or cover it up with some white paint. But nice lines there at the top of the cape, and his little pin on his sweater is painted pretty well. It's got an A for ash, except the bottom there is missing a little bit of the orange paint, so hopefully I can touch that up. But some nice little texture there with the buttons, and that is pretty much it. His vest or sweater is a pretty hard plastic, so you know, can't move that much. And the head pops off pretty easy, so that you can put on the alternate head. Getting the alternate head on is a little bit difficult. Oh, and I don't think you're not really supposed to be able to move the cape. I kind of just pulled on it anyway, just so I could show that you can take it off if you really wanted to, but then you can have those divots there in the shoulders where these little pegs line up, and it's probably just glue that was holding that in. Not a whole lot of glue, so it just kind of sits in there, and the head just keeps it from flopping around. But man, this alternate head, it does not want to go on. So probably need to loosen up that space in there. Alright, so took a little difficulty, or had a little difficulty getting that head on. I actually had to take my Dremel to it, and even then it's still not on completely, but yeah, I just wanted to show you what it looks like on there. So I'm hoping that that's not going to be a problem for a lot of people, because not everybody owns a Dremel or knows how to use one. So yeah, that don't know if it was just paint. I think it was just the plastic. It's just not enough space for the peg to sit in there. Alright, let's get the regular head back on, and we'll show off the articulation. Alright, so as far as the articulation goes, his head, like I said, is on a ball, so it just hinges up and down. Not so much up, but he can look down a pretty good amount, and you know, 360, and you can get him looking side to side, which is pretty cool. Can tilt his head all around. Go ahead and move him off the stand real quick. And again, I was having some difficulty with getting his both feet on the stand, and the cape doesn't really interfere with the head articulation, which is nice. And his arms are on his shoulders are on a ball hinge, so they swing out and up pretty far. Can get him parallel with his shoulders and all the way around. The cape doesn't really hinder it too much, it's pretty flexible. And then his elbows are on a ball hinge, so they swivel, like similar to what the Star Wars Black Series figures or the female Marvel Legends been having. So we can't get it in a 90-degree position, unfortunately. The sculpt is hindering that, but he can rotate it, and rotate it down, rotate it up, and then the hand is on a peg, so it can rotate all the way around. So that's very cool. Very tiny hands, so the pegs are pretty small and fragile. Be careful when you're rotating that. You don't want to snap those off. And same thing on the other side. Hinge there at the elbow, or I'm sorry, the shoulder. Rotate, same on this arm, and rotation at the hand. This one's a little bit more open, that one's a little bit more closed. And then he has a ball socket there at the top of his abdomen, so he can hinge or pivot a little bit side to side, not a whole lot, and not a whole lot forward and back either, but he can rotate side to side without any problems. And that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot of range of motion back and forward, like I said. And then at the crotch, he's got a, I guess you would call that a T-joint, or he can spread just a little bit, not too far, but he can go up a decent amount. And then he's got the same ball hinge at the knee that he does at the elbow, which is pretty hindered by the top of the knee there, or the pants, but he can swing them pretty far left and right, and unrealistically very far forward, not quite 90 degrees back. And then he has a rotation at the sock, the top of the sock there, so a shin rotation. And then the hinge at the foot, which has very tiny feet, and I get some paint flaking off there, but very good range of motion there at the foot. You can hinge it all the way back. That's showing up on camera there. And then you can hinge it pretty far forward, so you can have him in a nice flying kick pose. And same thing on the other side. Rotation, the knee, bend at the knee, rotation, and hinge at the foot. This one's a little bit more stiff, but you can manipulate it pretty well. And then the tail. And I'm getting some more paint flaking off. The tail is on a ball hinge, so you can swing all the way around and up and down very far, which is very cool. And that is Ash. So let's go ahead and get him next to some other figures for some size comparisons. For a quick size comparison, I threw in the 6-inch Star Wars Black Series Han Solo there to the right of Ash, and then we have two of the other characters from the same series. Let me get my trusty tape measure. I'll see how tall he stands. Let's see, Ash comes in at about, let's say 5 3/4 inches with his sock, almost 6 inches. And yeah, he fits in really nicely. And let's get Han Solo out of there and throw in Mr. Fox, his father. And I think they go really well together. Very nicely done. And yeah, this is a very cool series of figures. Hopefully you guys liked the review. If you want to check out the other figures from this series, I reviewed all 4 of them, so go back and check them out. Hopefully you hit the like button, you share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, and I always love hearing back from you guys, so please leave a comment below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.
That's crispy.